The only engage that they didn't start was the one up there that got kind of started by Sion pinning Ballsy against the wall there because they had just whiffed that Ash Arrow. But like you said, that's kind of the deciding factor on are they going to fight? Well, is Ash Arrow up? Okay, then they're probably going to fight. Well, is it down? Then they're probably not going to fight.
You know, it we don't see a lot of Ash anywhere. And yet watching Inertia play her here, it's almost surprising because these whenever she does fire off the arrow and it lands, it does always seem to be a kill. I can't actually think of a team fight off the top of my head where they Ash arrowed someone and they didn't just get blown up immediately afterwards. The only one, the only fight where they didn't immediately kill the target was an Ash arrow onto Schluppy, and they did get him eventually, but still, those Ash arrows have just been so crucial, even more effective than the collateral damage coming out from Laldota. And that's saying something. When the damage of an AD carry is being mitigated by the utility of the other, that's just strange. Meanwhile, a missed Ash arrow might smell doom for the team, but Inertia Senpai is in there, and Schluppy is going to get taken out. But a beautiful flash in by Baldy is going to deal so much damage, but she is going to get taken down herself. Meanwhile, a more locked up in the mid lane. That Zhonya's is going to save her, but for how long? Schluppy is coming back onto Hat Senpai, but it's not going to save him more, nor is it going to save Hat Senpai. Laldota is so incredibly low right now. The Dark Binding going to miss, but Senpai are not giving up, but Biku is there with a shield to keep her AD carry so safe, and a 2-for-2 exchange. No, neither side really gaining an advantage, but since you see a much healthier Inertia, they could potentially take something else from here. But they're not.
Yeah.
They're not. I thought
Yeah,
they might go for that tower, but they didn't.
they're just going to play it safe right now. They're two actual AD champions, even though Rengar is building mostly tanky. They're two champions with actual AD damage to push down objectives are dead, so they can't really take anything very quickly with their little AP tank squad with Ahri, Morgana, and Sion right there. But that fight was quite well played by Inertia. It was a good job by Key Club blowing up Ashe, but the problem is like we mentioned, Ashe isn't really doing that much damage. So you blow up the Ashe, but you still got a lot of damage coming out, and sustained damage coming out from Ahri. Because the new Ahri is sustained damage. She's not just land a charm and then burst you down initially. She is sustained damage throughout a fight with high mobility from those Qs, as well as, of course, the charm coming up every... How often is it now? It's probably about like 8 or 9 seconds. Yeah, 9 seconds right now for the Ahri charm. Here's the Ashe arrow.
Oh, they really, really want it. A Dark Binding missed as well. And, you know, it's surprising. With a 9-1-4 Ahri on the other side, I figured that Key Club would want to go for her more than anything, especially with a Lissandra who can lock her down quite easily. And another thing I do actually want to point out, Ballsy had a fantastic flash in that last night. Oh! Hold on. Biku getting locked down. There's Frost Queen's claim. She's going to get slowed down, but now here's the turnaround. Dash Senpai being blown up. The Assault and Battery into the Frozen Throne is more than enough, but it looks like Key Club's been off a bit more than they can chew here. Annie is going to go down. Amor also looking incredibly low here. The Glacial Path might save her, but it's not going to save Schluppy, who is now in a bad situation. Hat Senpai going to get the kill onto Laldota, and it's going to be Biku who gets out of this fight once again. I feel like this is kind of reminiscent of our last game, where all we saw was Janna making her getaway at the end of these last team fights.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Deja vu right here. Oh, there's the arrow again. Just push Janna
So
back a little bit. And they're going to be able to take this turret here as they've got about 7 seconds until Annie, their soonest member, can come up. But they should be able to take the inhibitor. They do, of course, have... No, they're going to back out and play it safe, actually, because Dragon's up. So they're just going to play it safe, take care of Dragon, get their third stack there. But as we were saying, now that they have Ashe, it's a little bit easier to take care of objectives. Before, it was just AP and tank, where they swap out Ahri for Ashe that time, where Ahri got blown up initially. Unfortunately, it was just a little bit too little too late there for Key Club. Janna, because she baited that fight, and here's the TP, though, they're going to try to stop it.
They might try and take it, but with no smite! Oh, they've still got it. Meanwhile, Moore looking to get some damage out, but the Silence Stun is going to keep her locked in place, and that's going to be another kill for Inertia Senpai. But, oh, Schluppy, you want this so bad, and you are going to get it. And actually going to stay alive. They might be able to pick up Inertia Senpai here if they leave Dash Senpai alone, but that's not really the smartest move, and they are going to back out here. Key Club not going to get that dragon, but at least they're going to pick up the kill onto Evan RL.
Yeah, so not too bad a trade there. I feel like Amor could have played that a little bit better, but he did enough to end up getting Schluppy a kill onto Evan RL there for his team, which is not too bad at the end of the day, but it seems like they're just trading, like I said, back and forth. Every time one team takes something, the other comes back and trades back. So even though they got that Dragon, like you said, it's 3-2 in Dragons. Dragons are still close, but there is about a 7k gold lead for the side of Inertia Gaming, and they've shown that by taking the inner turret there, and they might be able to grab that inhibitor next time they group up.
Oh, Hat Senpai, that's a pretty risky move. They're not gonna be able to. Oh, whoa! That couldn't have been correct. Hat Senpai going down Inertia Senpai. Now they're in the mix, and Schluppy going to go right on into Ari, but a nice Ash arrow is going to go onto Ballsy and prevent any more damage from coming out. Senpai going to be taken down incredibly low, but Amor also going to fall in this team fight. Biku is going to be the next one to go down, and Evan RL is just kiting around. She is getting incredibly low, but he is doing just fine for the time being. Ballsy flashing over the wall to pick up the kill.
Wow.
What's
That was actually a really good play there by Ballsy, because like I keep mentioning, they're taking out the AD damage, so it's going to be easier to protect these objectives when they don't have the pure flat attack damage taking down the inhibitor. It's just going to be a tank Scion and an AP Ari trying to work their magic here. We'll see if they can stop this. Annie's actually just pushing waves in top. She doesn't want to get involved in this. They're going to give this inhibitor up.
It's weird. The thing is, Ari's ult is down. Scion ult is down. He doesn't have too much that'll allow him to get onto Graves. All Lol Dota really has to watch out for is that charm, and yet he's not getting out any kind of damage at all. And in that situation, sure, it's better to play it safe, but you've got to do something. You've got to apply some kind of pressure there to keep them off of that inhibitor. Otherwise, Inertia, they're really starting to run away with the small lead that they've accrued as time has gone on over this game.
And this is why we saw in the last game McMaster make that kind of insane all-or-nothing base race push, because they got to a point like this, like we're seeing right now, where Key Club is pretty much like, okay, we're just going to slowly lose the game if we keep doing what we're doing. Like you said, even though they're playing safe, they have to kind of take risks right now and try and get back in this game, because if they keep doing what they're doing, they're going to go.
Nice jump over by Dash Senpai, but he's not going to pick up the kill onto Biku. A good couple of shields coming out are going to keep him nice and safe, but that could have been a very bad situation for him.
Yeah, there is the Locket of the Iron Solari there sitting on Janna, so she's not too bad. She's also got, of course, the Mikhail's Crucible, so she's going to be doing, or not doing, but able to take, rather, a decent amount of AP damage. So having Morrigan, Ari to try and whittle down Janna there with the AP against the MR is not exactly what you want. And Ari's also opted for a semi-defensive build with the Abyssal Scepter and the Zhonya's on there, so not pure damage, which I like. I like the fact that Ari's going to be a little bit more survivable here. But it isn't going to allow you to kind of do those one-and-done picks like we used to see with old Ari.
No, not at all. And I think the reason why we're seeing so much aggression starting to come out from Inertia is that they've got just so much more sight onto Key Club. I mean, we talked about this earlier, and it looks like Inertia really took it to heart, because they are just warding out everywhere. The top part of the map is theirs to control, and it seems like Key Club just keep on losing whatever wards they place out. And they've got to have more than just Biku dropping the wards right now. They've got to got a little bit more sight. Otherwise, they could end up in a situation similar to Ballsy, who is taken out incredibly low. Azonis is going to keep him safe for now. That's only a matter of time until it wears out. Schluppy is in the middle of things, but so is Scion. Second kill going over to Evan IRL. Amor still alive for the time being, but it looks like Biku is not as lucky. Triple kill for Evan, and this looks like it'll be at least 2 towers. And then Hib as well. Oh, and there's the Zerat portal as well. A flash over by Hat Senpai. My gosh, they're getting a little bit cocky now. Hat Senpai being taken down incredibly low. Going to die! Was it worth it? Was it worth? Oh! Could this be the unofficial pentakill? One more! That's unofficial. It's
there we go.
definitely a pentakill, but it's unofficial.
Evan RL coming back saying, screw support Ashing to pick up some kills to make my score look a bit better in this game, even though he's basically set up pretty much everything. It was the bot lane where it was like the setup crew pretty much. Those Morgana binds on those Ash arrows just set up Ari to jump in with Charm, set up Scion to ult in, and Rengar to just jump in and murder some people. One last defense here by Key Club.
Oh, they're trying for one last offensive. Schluppy being taken down though, and Ballsy has to deal with this Scion that's in his face. And it's going to be too much for him to handle. Going to be another kill for Dash Senpai, and the last one going to get picked up by Evan RL. That's game, though. The finals are done. The winners are Inertia.
Yeah, great game from both sides, but Inertia Gaming seems to just, no matter what happens in the early game, they seem mid-late, seem to just slowly take control with good movements, good team fighting. After that initial kind of counter-engaged team fight we saw in the mid lane earlier on from Key Club, where they got engaged on and then engaged back and actually won that team fight pretty well, it was the best time they had for that team fight. Inertia Gaming learned from that and said, we're never letting that happen again. Had Sion on the front line every single time, and that was really the key to their team fights, is they just picked people off with that Ash Arrow, they picked people with the Morgana Dark Binding, then Ahri ults in with the Charm, and Sion is that frontline tank that they just cannot push out of the way. He got way too big, and it was just a rough day for Key Club as the game got longer.
Really following the mantra of Kha'Zix here, evolve and adapt, and Inertia has just did it beautifully this game. Sion was always in the front, and I think the real key member here though was Senpai RL. Because we talked about the Ash Arrows a lot, and we talked about the Dark Bindings a little bit, but it always seemed when it came to these close-up engages, he was always right where he needed to be. Those Morgana Dark Bindings were so incredibly on point, and the Soul Shackles so quick to follow as well. The unsung hero of this game, for sure.
Yeah, I would completely agree. That is exactly how I want to play a support. From the very beginning when I started playing support, I was like, what do I need to do to win this game? And it is pretty much just make your team look good. Hand your team kills on a silver platter. Set them up and say, if you can't get this kill, then you don't deserve it. And pretty much all the Dark Bindings were doing that this game. They were just keeping people stuck in place. Easy kills for his team. Great job by the bot lane of Inertia Gaming, really setting up all the kills in this game. So it really kind of interesting team comp. Haven't seen the Ashe in a while, but they played that comp really strongly. We were mentioning that we don't see Ashe that much. It's because you need a coordinated team to pull that off. You need to all be on the same page. And even though there was a little bit of slip-ups, Inertia Gaming played those team fights extremely well, made tons of picks, tons of catches, extended their vision, and took control of the game in the end.
What a fantastic game to end on. But unfortunately, that is the end for tonight's tournament. We will be back next Monday, though, so please stick around and come back and see us then. But for now, Earthkey and Street Bowl, we out.